Yes. Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called A Smell of the Game from the Guilty Gear Strive original soundtrack. This is a very, very special request because it's another one of my coffee personal requests for this month. And this one was made by Jesse Bromboch. And the comment says, "Yo Atlas, could you do a breakdown on A Smell of the Game from Guilty Gear Strive? I feel you might like it." Well, thank you very much, Jesse, for your request and of course your incredible support. This is as straight to the point as you can get, I suppose, which is fantastic. I am vaguely familiar with Guilty Gear. I think this is a fighting game, isn't it? I've never played it, but I know some people in my Discord that do actually play this game. And in case you're interested, I have a Discord. You can find the link for it in the description of this video. So, like I said, never played this game. I don't know what I am going to be listening to right now. So, I'm going completely blind into this, okay? Looking forward to it. Onward. Okay, so let me see. Yes, here it is. This is A Smell of the Game from Guilty Gear Strive. Boom. We have a metal track? Yes.
I know who I am. The moonlight lake told me this is who you are. My face is so long. My nails are sharp on the lights. That is me.
Space creative.
That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the word kill me, I don't need a new word under you. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. Your words don't sound like your own. You're trapped in the toxic created by this world. That is who
This song goes hard, even though it is for a video game.
That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If I lose my wings, I don't need a new word under you. Can't feel a thing. We already know the smell of the game. Remember, you are blazing. Still your heart is blazing. If the world made you, I don't need a new word under you. Soon you will know. We are
Cool thing is that it has lyrics we're gonna be able to break down later. I think the lead guitar either has a chorus or a phaser on it. Probably a chorus. pretty cool solo.
What am I? What am I?
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. But they found beauty in the lives of beasts and couldn't lie to themselves about it.
I'm just a small part of the world.
Oof.
But no one can break me. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world over you. My time is my word. Your words will never make me disappear. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world over you. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the game.
Okay, there we have it. Yeah, this is a full-blown metal track. I'm not sure if I'm really surprised because, you know, fighting games often I've heard often having rock or metal songs. This is not like extremely surprising. But this song goes hard in some parts, harder than I would have expected, to be honest. Because even though sometimes OSTs for this kind of games go into the rock or metal route, sometimes they dilute it a little bit to make it more accessible, you know. So yeah, let's break it down. Okay, so let's start this breakdown by talking about the lyrics. I already read the lyrics and they have contributed to my premise of this being a Japanese either singer or a band as a whole or something like that, because, you know, I've broken Japanese tracks, I mean either literally Japanese translated into English or Japanese bands, artists performing a song in English. And I have noticed that there's a quintessential characteristic. I don't know if you would consider this a problem, but, well, it will be a problem for people that is trying to understand the song, for sure. But there's some things that are lost in translation. I think that the Japanese artists have difficulty, understandably, into translating the or trying to put the meaning of what they thought in Japanese into English. And the reason I'm saying this is because, like I said before, I've broken down different Japanese artists before, and sometimes the lyrics can be quite cryptic. Now, of course, the crypticness, let's say, in this track, it could be very well attributed to the nature of I'm not familiar with the franchise, with Guilty Gear, and therefore I'm missing a lot of the things that could be reflecting the actual game. But at the same time, I think that regardless of that, the song is trying to communicate things, but it's not doing it in an effective way because of that loss in translation kind of thing that's going on, okay? And that's one of the main reasons why I also, in addition to the fact that I said that the singer has this accent, this Japanese accent that is very recognizable when they, and also the phrasing in the singing is very Japanese-like. But we're going to be talking more in depth about those things later. But in general, in regards to the lyrics, I think that they're talking about someone, a character in the game probably, that is having a hard time adjusting to where this person is. Like for example, the first verse says, "I know who I am. The moonlit lake told me. This is who you are. My fangs are so long, my nails are sharper than eyes. That is me. I wonder what that will prove." So in this particular part, the character is just wondering what he as a person will be perceived as, or what sort of utility, what purpose he has in this world. Because it would seem to me like, you know, this character has a past experience in which he very much grounded himself into and very clearly knows who's this character is. My fangs are so long, my nails are sharper than eyes. It means like there's some sort of experience, right? So sort of wisdom behind it. In this case, I would say it would be like a fighting wisdom, right? Because this is a fighting game. So his character is just wondering how his old ways, let's say, and his old wisdom actually fits in the current world that he is, I suppose, or something like that. Now, the chorus unveils a little bit further into the premise of this character, because it says, "That is bullshit, blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words killed me, I don't need a new world order. Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game." So there's a lot of things that I really can't understand in this part. If the words kill me, I don't really understand that at all. But the two phrases that I take from this chorus that kind of give a glance of what the character is going through is, "I don't need a new world order. We already know the smell of the game." So no, this is kind of to put it into kind of a meme perspective. This is kind of the boomer vibes that the character has within this world, because it's saying like, I don't need something new. I felt like I belonged in the world that I knew, but this is a new world and I don't need it, right? And we already know the smell of the game. It's like we already know how it is in terms of, I suppose, the premise, or not the premise, but the plot of the game, let's say. This is a fighting game, so we already know the smell of the game. It probably means like it doesn't matter how much the outside world changes, the essence of the fighting, apologies, is still going to be the same. Okay, and finally, this is another part that kind of unveils a little bit too in regards to this character, which says, "What am I? Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. But they found beauty in the lives of the beasts and couldn't lie to themselves about it. I'm just a small part of the world." So in this part, I think that he basically means that he since he's part of this old world, the people in the new world regard him as a brute or a caveman or something like that, you know, because of his old ways. So blame the beasts are basically a metaphor to people like him, you know. They are uncivilized people, basically. But I don't know if this is a fantasy of his, that people at the end found the beauty in the lives of the beasts and couldn't lie to themselves about it. Just a small part of the world is like I don't know if this is the person just fantasizing about it, but at least it could mean he's hoping for that to happen, right? Like the new world adjusts to what he is as a person and what he has done, instead of the other way around. So yeah, this could be like wishful thinking, let's say. Now let's talk about the music, okay? First, I would like to mention a couple of general things, and then I'm going to mention a couple of specific things that I liked about the song, okay? But overall, I think that this track is it takes some risks, especially in the vocals, when it gets more guttural, let's say. Which is an attribute which is mostly related to it gets either more shriek or shrieky or guttural or harsh, and that is very much attributed to more extreme metal kind of genres. You know, the most unaudible ones for most people out there. But I kept thinking about 3 specific bands that I would say are very much an influence into this song, and that would be Trivium, Machine Head, and Five Finger Death Punch. I don't know if you could call this a track like a new wave of American metal kind of song, but it does have a lot of its attributes. Apologies. You know, this kind of trashy, newer, trashier riffs with this underlying southern metal kind of thing going on, like Pantera did back in the day. Also some metalcore here and there. But yeah, I would say that those 3 bands play a role in this track very much so. In general, okay. I also wonder if this is an opening track or you know, like the video game actually has an opening, an anime opening, and this track is playing, or it is in a cinematic or something like that, because I can't really picture this being a track that is actually played while you're, you know, fighting someone in the game, either, you know, playing multiplayer or just playing the campaign, if it has one, or I don't really know. But it doesn't sound like a track that would actually play in gameplay, you know. It's either, to me, it sounds like more of a cinematic kind of track for sure. Since this is a metal track, of course it has a lot of energy from the get-go. Metal is certainly very one of the most, if not the most abrasive. Well, in this particular case, the genres involved in this are not the most abrasive ones that are in metal. For that, you would have to go towards, you know, death metal, black metal. You know, those kind of deathcore has become very abrasive too. What else? I don't know if you would consider grindcore a metal genre. I think it is more related to punk than metal, but yeah, I'm going to throw grindcore there too. Those are the super abrasive ones, right? But in general terms, metal has that characteristic. It's more abrasive, it's more aggressive. Obviously, those main characteristics that the metal genres have play very well towards this kind of video games in which you're fighting, basically. Because fighting involves aggressiveness, conflict, but of course presented in a very specific way, because you're actually fighting someone hand-to-hand combat. So the most visceral, meaner, let's say, kind of combat is hand-to-hand combat, if you think about it. Because yes, modern warfare is certainly can be very gruesome and so on and so forth because of the kind of weapons that we have nowadays, right? But I mean, it's something is very different from firing a weapon from cover, you know, and you know you're 10 meters, 20 meters, 100 meters away from your enemy than actually having your rival face to face and actually pounding yourselves up until one of them basically dies, maybe, because I don't know how this actually work, but in Mortal Kombat it's like that, right? So, and also you can think of it also like in medieval times, or you know, in more ancient times, like during the Roman Empire, or maybe even before that, like in the Bronze Age, right? In classic the classic Greek era, let's say. You know, the fighting was grueling, and it wasn't with punches, but it was basically face-to-face combat. You against me, we're in front of each other. So that is brutal. That is super brutal kind of fighty. You know, the most brutal ones that you will that there will ever be is that kind of fighting. So metal serves very well to translate that kind of premise as a soundtrack, of course, and you can hear that the soundtrack, like I said before, takes those risks into by the vocal performer when he goes into the more harsh, shrieking or guttural side of metal, but he does that in a very calculated measures, let's say, you know. It doesn't go overboard with it, because otherwise maybe it was required from them to not go overboard, because it could turn off to the people playing the game. You know, you want to keep it risky, but not to the point where people can't listen to the track because it's just too much for them. Another of the characteristics that this track has is that it has kind of a shift in tone / vibe in between the verse and the chorus. You know, the chorus, I mean, the song in general is very melodic, but it sounds even more melodic in the chorus, and you can hear that there's a drastic change in the tone of it. Like, the verse sounds very mean and sounds very aggressive, but the chorus kind of relaxes the tone of it a little bit, and that's where the tensions comes in. You know, the full and the energy of the track is very high in regards to the whole track in general, right? Because it's a metal song, it's very, very heavy. But from the start, it starts with a lot of energy, and then when the transitions comes towards the chorus, you can hear that the tone of it, the tone of the track is trying to tell like a different story within the same, or a different part of the story within the same track. You know what I mean? Another thing is that the track has like 2 or 3 parts where it creates a lot of space. You know, and this is a very important part of the track, because otherwise, I would say if the energy was full on motion, like full on 100%, it would have become way too predictable, and you know, being predictable leads to being boring most of the time. Not always, because sometimes tracks can be 100%, but there will be other elements within that 100% that keeps the track interesting and engaging. But in this particular kind of song, and this song is in a specific, I think that the space needed to be there. You know, not only because of the story that is in the lyrics. Apologies. It is very much needed because of the story that is told on the lyrics. Because, like I said before, it's a character that it has a hard time to adjust, and has these thoughts about how could the world adjust to himself, and that it's a shift in the tone of not only the story that is being told, but it's actually translated in the music itself. So you needed spaces to tell that kind of story, right? And you can hear that the one that is the most important one, I would say, is the part where you hear this kind of prog vocals harmonies in it. And actually has a synthesizer. I'm gonna put a little bit of it right here so you can understand what I'm talking about.
What am I? What am I? What am I? What am I? What am I?
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves.
So yeah, in this part, the character is trying to make some sort of reflection within himself about the current state of the world and who he is and how maybe the world can adjust to him and the sort of nature that himself has as a human being within the game as being a fighter and so on and so forth, right? And you can hear that the space where, or the section where this is portrayed in it's in one of the places where space is created in the track. So this space is created so that part of the storytelling of the track can shine, which to me is arguably the most important one, to be honest. And you don't want that part to be lost within the abrasiveness of the other parts of the song, the verse and so on and so forth. This part had to be like that, so it could shine above everything else, and there wasn't a lot of things going on, so it could distract you from the very fact. Okay, so yeah, this is a full-blown metal song. I think this probably from an opening or a cinematic or something like that. My favorite part was the part where you hear the kind of the pro vocals, the harmonies, what am I? Mankind knew that they cannot change society and so on and so forth. Because it's probably the part that talks the most about the current state of what's probably happening in the game, but also the understanding of that this character has within this world, okay? And it's actually the most beautiful and outside of the box, riskier, in my opinion, part of the track, to be honest. So yeah, that was my favorite part of the track for sure. I'm gonna give this track a silver badge, okay? It was a solid metal song, but certainly my favorite part still, it's way and beyond the best part in regards to the other parts of the track is the prog thing, vocal harmony thing that I was talking about. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon in case you want to sway the vote towards what I'm going to be breaking down next. Also, visit my Ko-fi profile in case you want to make a one-time contribution to the channel, or my Ko-fi store in case you want to have one of these personal requests for you. I opened 4 spots the first of each month at 1 p.m. EST. Or my Teespring shop in case you want merch and all that jazz. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.